everyone, welcome to a new game. This is Tacoma. I got this game for free from the Epic Games Store when it was given away ages ago. Let's just jump into it. Start with commentary. Like dev commentary? Okay, yeah, let's hear some dev commentary. I always find it super interesting to get their perspective on their own game.
All right, Minnie. Ready to start docking sequence?
Okay. Engaging retro thrusters now.
I need to enable subtitles. I thought I had already.
Lunar Transfer Station Tacoma. Commercial
No, there is
cargo transit
subtitles.
facility. Crew evacuated. Station AI offline.
Air supply?
Breathable air on Tacoma for a crew of 1 should be more than sufficient. Docking now.
So Tacoma is what, the planet?
Nice. Thanks, Minnie.
Amy, Tacoma job. So I'm surprised actually like a book, not like a tablet or something. Let me just see like how's the recording. I think the recording is okay. I forgot to test that also. Right mouse. Oh. No. Here. Hardware install verified, sim run okay, verified by H. Alright, let's hear something.
Hey there, I'm Steve,
I'm Carla.
and we are the co-founders of Fulbright, and we want to welcome you to Tacoma's commentary mode.
Welcome.
Throughout the game, you'll find icons like this one that will give you insight from a bunch of different people that contributed to Tacoma. You know, people on the development team that did design, animation, sound, and pretty much every other part of making a game like this a reality.
It'll be both audio and sometimes visual.
Yeah.
So lots of information.
Behind the scenes concept art and other kind of development screenshots and stuff like that. And also on your way back out of this area, if you do a full playthrough of the game in commentary mode, there will be some new nodes that pop up in the hub and in Amy's ship. So don't miss those. Thank you for playing through commentary mode, and we hope that you'll enjoy finding out more about how Tacoma was made.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love this. Absolutely. Grab nut. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, I just dropped things.
So doing the voice recording for Amy was definitely very different from what we did with Sam in Gone Home. A lot of it with Gone Home, since it is something that's very personal, it's very intimate, it's that one person pouring her thoughts out. And then you have something like Amy in Tacoma, where she's really removed from everybody else. She's, in a sense, really removed from the story that you're exploring, because she's playing that character that's discovering it just as you are. So, whereas the rest of the crew for Tacoma was all doing an ensemble recording together, so they were actually in the same room, acting together, performing against each other, and getting to talk face to face, all of my recording was done totally separately. I had a general idea of the story that kind of gave me a little rundown of, the scenes that I was in and what I was talking about, but a lot of it was a total surprise, because you sort of don't want Amy to know a lot of what's going on, because I think that it makes it a bit more authentic if the recording is, okay, so you walk into this room and this is what you're seeing, but you don't know why. So it needs to have that sound of surprise and questioning and exploration that I think comes from really being that separated as she would actually be in that reality.
Dude, I love this person's voice. That is so cool. I haven't played Gone Home. Install AI wetware here. Amy. What would that be?
Minnie, I'm headed in. Talk to you when I'm back. Don't let anybody scan the ship while I'm gone.
Okay.
Okay. So, I don't know what that means. This is pretty cool. I'm really loving it.
So Minnie is Amy's ship's AI. I think she's most known for saying, okay. And I am the voice of Minnie. When we originally recorded it, it was just Scratch. So we didn't know then that I would be the voice of Minnie, ultimately. But yeah, it stuck, and it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, Minnie went through like a bunch of iterations. Actually, it was kind of hard to get her right. We ended up kind of settling on the audio direction being like a happy version of Hal, like the really famous AI from 2001. So yeah, I just kind of took Noelle's really amazing VO and I would do things like I would time stretch it, or I would take one syllable and like an okay, that line, I took the O and I, like over a period of time, I kind of pitch bent that vowel sound up. So she has a real like sing-song quality, and I think that combined just with like it sounding like her voice is coming through a really small speaker makes the character feel kind of rudimentary, and then it's all really Noelle's like voice acting that kind of sells Minnie as being super pleasant and helpful.
I just remember when we were recording it, Steve and Carla are just like, cheerier, be like you are when you come into the office or something. And I had no idea that I was quite that cheery all the time.
That's hilarious. Just be yourself. I was actually worried it's gonna crash. Open lid. What is this?
Hello, I am Odin, Lunar Transfer Station Tacoma's Operational Data Interface Network. I have recorded this message to welcome you, guests, aboard. Before I can set up your station profile, you must register your body positional data with Tacoma's AR tracking systems. Please place your hand on the AR figure's palm.
Let me just see.
Your body positional data has been registered with Tacoma's AR network. Please sign in to confirm your identity.
A lot of people ask about the use of sign language in Tacoma, including asking things like, is Amy hearing impaired? Is there, what is the rationale behind the use of sign language? And for us, it actually came from thinking about how an interface for a non-physical thing like AR might work.
Most of our AR interaction is, it's attention-based and it's focus-based, like on where the user is looking and paying attention to. But sometimes there are good reasons for you to do something, physically, and we use therefore sign language for things like signing in.
Or in the case of when Amy's recovering one of the AR crew records, she does, as opposed to like text entry, she does full word commands in ASL, American Sign Language.
And our animator Noelle also had extensive correspondence with a person fluent in ASL, so
yeah, it was important to us to work with a sign language consultant so that Noelle could ensure that the hand motions and the finger spelling that she was animating were accurate to how someone might actually use those gestures in the real world.
That is awesome. Okay. Contractor. Oh, that
Thank
is
you.
so cool.
Welcome aboard. While aboard Tacoma Station, please remember that all activity on this facility is monitored by AR recording. All activity records become sole property of the Venturas Corporation. Any questions about privacy and personal privacy are most certainly Scout's
Engineering. Biomedical. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Here we are in the hub.
Yeah.
It's big.
It is very big. Actually, that was one of my concerns when we sort of first started making the hub, was that, like, you just sort of get thrown into this giant space.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. There's little guys flying around.
It's one of the only spaces in the entire game that feels very spaceship to me.
Yeah.
You go from here to a space that feels a lot more terrestrial, that feels a lot more grounded, and it's easy to get around, and you tend not to lose your bearings, and we help the player move through the space with, landmarking and lighting and stuff. And then you come back to here after that, and you're like, oh, I'm in space. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Here I am in space again. And it's disorienting, and it's weird, and it's kind of unsettling. I think that kind of works about it, because you're not playing the game in here, and the game isn't really about getting from A to B. So it's really kind of
playing basketball.
It's playing basketball, and it's also kind of, I always felt like this part was just kind of an intermission in the game. You come here to kind of take a breath after, a long bit of story, and it's a fairly empty, quiet float, which I really liked.
Hold on. Cryogenics. Access denied. Okay. Fuck, this way to the Tacoma Dome. Bring your friends or don't. Whoa, look at that. It's a thing. Ooh, there's 2 cryogenics.
I remember because I made a bunch of signs to point us in the direction of the Tacoma Dome, and you guys just let me kind of go bananas. You didn't say anything particular. You said make a bunch of signs, and I just made them say a bunch of stuff like, those mystery spots? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, they have those where you were? Yeah. You'll drive, and they'll be like, two more turns till wall drug, or to your mystery spot, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I wanted them to have that tone, and then I thought for sure you guys would be like, no, more serious, but you're like, no, great.
No, they were great.
Yeah.
We loved them.
I think those kinds of things, like the what we really wanted to do with a lot of Tacoma was say that the station is very manufactured. It's a little antiseptic as a base layer, but then the characters kind of humanizing that, expressing their personalities on top of it is what a lot of like what you find is about. So the signs being kind of like, you know, the crew having fun and making jokes for their own amusement, I think is totally appropriate here.
So 32-27, the orange team. Can I play? Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness me. Dunk. Because of gravity. Did I hear the commentary?
I don't remember exactly how it started, but I feel like the team colors, and specifically the design of the basketball backboard, were definitely left up to you. So
Yes.
I want to know about these backboards because I absolutely love them.
We needed ones that were basically sort of symmetrical, that you could approach a basketball hoop from both up and down. So this is just like, you know, the most obvious approach to it, but it works, right? And if something works in a video game where you're flying around in 0G, then like maybe stick with that. Don't make it convoluted. Like don't make it any more than it needs to be.
I also tested this so much that I could make I could make a 3-pointer from, you know, the other side of the hub, which I don't think it's a skill I can do something else with, but I'm still kind of proud about it. You know.
Yeah, well, I can't shoot for beans, so I'm glad someone can.
Okay. So are these my colleagues? Okay. That is my card. Oh, and this is a map. Okay. That is pretty cool.
Excuse me.
Like nothing on Earth. Like, how can I rotate myself? Rather magnificent, Odin. What is this? Personnel. Oh, thank you for rotating me. I appreciate it. Do I have feet if I look down? I don't. What is it? Is it this? The company has remotely disabled the station's AI's ability to directly affect operations on Tacoma or contact you via the station's AR net. Any attempt to communicate with the AI is strictly prohibited. Personal audio. Okay.
All right, so the advertisements you see in the transfer shaft are advertising the Ventura Spelt vacation homes, and I got to illustrate them. They're really fun. I'm usually doing animation and stuff, so this is kind of like a fun little task.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when I was working on Tacoma, like at sort of in my free time, I would just like record a bunch of music, and Steve, the idea for the transfer ad kind of came online, and Steve was like, "Oh, we need like a jingle for this," and I was like, "Oh man!" I thought to myself, I wrote a really like obnoxious, like corporate music-y sounding thing like 3 days ago. This will be perfect. So I like rearranged some things, and I was like, I think this is terrible enough to be elevator music, and tell the story of like this corporation sort of, licensing this terrible song to put in this elevator and make people listen to. And so I think it was pretty effective, but I just love how humble Noelle's being, because like Noelle did animation on the game, but also she's a really amazing illustrator, and like does that on the regular. So I just feel like I have to kind of shout her out as being a really amazing illustrator.
I
And she's
agree.
just
Like
being
these
super
are
humble.
amazing.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah.
I agree. Like that's awesome. Okay, let me just hear.
Typically, Steve, who's the main writer, will send me a description of technical requirements for any given sort of game object. Any thoughts he has about like the basic look of it. And in this case, the sync device had to feel like this, like sort of like a heavy-duty industrial object. Like he mentioned when he was talking to me initially about like early beige Apple products, kind of like the Apple II, and it couldn't have any buttons, as you will know, because the moment there's a button is the moment you as a player you want to press that button, right? And so if we can't pay off a button, generally we don't put a button in, or we steer away from it. So that's why you won't find many or any buttons in Tacoma Station.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like a DS. Okay, we can send you secure messages through this interface, but it's a one-way connection. We'll be monitoring the situation from here. It's going to take a while for the first part of the AI net to go up. This is no simple file transfer. Okay. So we just explore. Obsolence Day party this way. What is in here?
Typically, Steve.
Oh shit, I already heard that. I'm sorry. Operations. Williams. Friendly reminder, our yearly obsolescence, man, I don't know how to read this, day party is tomorrow. Refreshments will be provided, as will a general sense of satisfaction due to humans still having jobs in space, despite our dear employer's best efforts. The pleasure of your company is requested tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the dining hall in the administration module. Okay. No, I came from there. Office.
Germ, are you there? Hello. Yeah, we haven't heard who's staying on yet, and it can be a tense time, as you know. But how are things at Carnival? I trust you got back to terra firma safely?
February 29, 2080 was scheduled to be the final day that commercial and industrial orbital facilities would be operated by human crew members. It's your legal right. So everything is a robot?
No! You're already headed back out towards Jupiter. Why, I thought that... Oh yes, come on in, love. So are you rounding Sol, then? That's tremendous. 8 months? Germ, I must leave now. Yeah, ring me again before the Resplendence leaves Earth space, won't you? Sorry about that. An old friend from my Carnival days.
Consorting with the enemy?
Worry not, mon capitaine. I am nothing if not discreet.
Are you gonna miss me, Clive? I mean, if VT kicks one of us off of this pinwheel.
Miss you? How could I? The next thing VT would receive after ending your contract would be my letter of resignation.
Oh, so you think I'm the one who's getting shit canned?
I mean, considering how indispensable I am, naturally.
Evie, can you get back to cargo?
On my way.
May I?
Yeah, come on.
Good news?
That'd be nice for a change. What is it?
12 days ago.
Hey, remember when we talked about how I needed access to Odin's direct interface?
Uh-huh.
So how about this? Tell VT if they don't grant access to Odin, they're gonna have to find themselves a new network specialist.
Oh my god. Nat, you're not even renewed yet.
You don't have access to Odin?
No. There's a whole part of the networking module I can't even get into.
People, everything on this station is VT's property. We're subcontractors. They get to decide what exactly we do and don't have access to. It's in all our paperwork. So if you want to quit, then just quit, but don't make me your go-between.
I mean, it is fair. How is she meant to do her job?
Clive.
Then again, rules are rules.
Nat, I'll think about it. But for now, how about you just get the rest of this job done
Oh, I see.
while you still have it?
Aye, Captain. So how about this? Tell VT if they don't access to it, they get to the network list.
Oh. Nat, you're not even...
It says here. Don't know. Hold on.
You have everything you need? Yep-o.
Oh, I see.
Thanks for offering to help. Oh yeah, no problem. I mean, you know how much I love
Here we go. Personalized therapy with licensed practitioners. Maybe, but I'm trying to focus on the bright side with Nat. At least it pays well, the oscillation pay. I feel like I'm holding her back. She's up here on this shit posting because it's all I'm qualified for. And she could be somewhere so much better. Okay, I have to go do this yearly task thing now. Thanks for your time. Thanks for using Ari. Bye, Roberta. Count day. Mind if I was better than one? is this? Okay. Failed. The bird's eye was Nat. Oh, I'm holding Nat back. Okay. Why do you feel this way?
Mindless and busy.
Kid, don't start. We don't even know if we're getting renewed yet.
We're getting renewed.
Okay, so if you're so sure, maybe we should just do our jobs then? So we'll get renewed again next year?
God, next year? Nah. I'm gonna quit.
Stop.
What? They don't even give me access to the system I'm supposed to be maintaining. I mean, are you kidding me?
Huh? Do you really need direct access to Odin?
It's the principle of the thing. I mean, what if they were like, hey Bert, your job's mechanical engineer, but, you know, don't touch anything under the hood?
Well, I'd still be pulling a paycheck for one thing.
Come on, you're a good engineer. You're totally gonna waste up here.
Well, didn't you say Evie was gonna talk to corporate about giving you more access?
Yeah, but it never went anywhere. Hey, that's a good point, actually.
What?
Evie, can you get back to cargo?
On my way.
Yeah, this'll work.
Nat!
Hey, remember when we talked about how I needed access to Odin's direct interface?
Uh-huh.
So how about this? Tell VT if they don't grant access to Odin, they're gonna have to find themselves a new network specialist.
Oh.
Let me just hear this.
I did learn to make some shaders, some custom shaders for Tacoma. So the character's look has changed a lot since we first started working on Tacoma. The story also changed a little bit, and originally there was a character that was supposed to look glitched and corrupt compared to the main characters. And when I made that character, I worked with vertex distortion, and so they look kind of wiggly as they're moving around. And it turned out that Steve and Carla really liked that look, and so we implemented that into all the other characters' shaders. So anyway, so that's why they kind of have like a distorted look as they're walking around. And from there, a bunch of other things were added, like when they walk through another mesh or touch another mesh. Like if they're touching the table, their fingers will kind of glow. And if they're walking through a door, their bodies will kind of glow as they're walking through the door mesh. So, yeah, good old shaders.
That is awesome. So, what? Uh-huh. Hey Mark, this is the article I was talking about last time we were discussing finances. Give it a look, sorry to be a downer, love you. Myth. Real currency is more stable than consumer loyalty. Reality. This may have been true in the earliest years of OSEP's official recognition of the loyalty economy, but think of it like diversifying your financial portfolio, except. Myth. Converted loyalty is just as valuable as original loyalty. While there are many companies out there, some more reputable than others, that will offer to convert your loyalty between parent companies. Think of loyalty as working on your grandparents. What? Wait, sorry, working on the same compound interest system as a retirement plan, a 401k account as your grandparents. When you draw your loyalty from your original parent company and transfer it, you lose all those years or decades. It's never worth it. Failed. Off station.
Nicholas, I know that you... Yeah, I know. Both you and your father would like me home sooner, but... Listen, you have your heart set on Amazon, don't you? Okay. And there's no way we're gonna have enough customer loyalty between your dad and I for a full ride by the time you start school. Not at this rate. So, we're just gonna have to pay some of that tuition out of pocket. Yeah, just one more year. And I'm pretty sure I'll get it. Hoping. What? No, it's not dangerous. What do you mean dangerous? Radiation shielding is pretty much 100% on a station like this, so there's no... Well... Yeah. Well, it might have been manufactured 30 years ago, but they've upgraded.
Man,
No, we're...
Your stories aren't usually such.
We're not all
downers.
gonna get cancer or bone
Is
disease
everything
or...
okay?
I suppose I am preoccupied with
would it make
your
you feel better to
potential
hear it straight from the
departure.
station, Doctor?
Wait.
Okay,
You
hold
mean
on.
me? Or
Hey, Sarah, can I bother you for a second?
what? Oh, sorry. What is it?
I have my son Nicholas on AR, and he wanted to ask you... What? No, you said you wanted... Well, I didn't... Okay, I'm sorry, hold on. Now, Nicholas...
Odin, what's my damn gym locker code? 0315. Okay, 0315. Well, it's lots of people, hackers, hippies, AI, right folks, yeah, I mean, 10 years of school. Okay, well, I've got a friend there and you'd like him. And he has a 0G bonsai garden. That sounds pretty cool. What's his name? Fluey Dog. I mean, okay, his real name is Hassan. But maybe if your contract doesn't get renewed, visit on the way home. I'll think about it. Okay, so dating. Sorry. Zero spiel. Are you sure? Says her Tiny. Never sure. Around the whirling vortex spins a tiny ball, the fulcrum on which the entire mission rests. Rien ne va plus. No more bets. No more chances. Just this one. Her Tiny's probability calculations fluctuate in Robertson's AR. Turn that off, she says under her breath. Don't need it. 13. The dolly drops on 13. Player chips are raked by the table's magnets. Robertson pushes away from the roulette table and her mag boots disengage. The countersign has been confirmed. She's floating through the orbital casino at a measured pace. The gilded scales of women's dresses float away from their bodies in microgravity, shining like precious metal Christmas trees. Earth glows blue through the casino's picture windows. Our Tiny speaks in AR. I assume that means that you and the platform AI have an agreement in place. Robertson. We are one step closer to the biggest score low Earth orbit has ever seen. Okay, I think this is fiction. She's reading. Asan. Here's his contact info if you want it. Okay. Wait. 0315. I'm gonna put that on my phone. Hold on. Alright, I have it. Gym locker code.
Nicholas? Hello?
Teens, huh?
Yeah. Almost done with high school. Almost. Wait. Is there anything we should be worried about? With another year out here, health-wise? Radiation, bone density?
Oh no. We spend almost all of our time in Earth gravity, and radiation shielding on a station like this is basically 100%.
See, that's what I told him. Okay, thanks, Sarah. Nothing to worry about.
Okay, Odin, where were we?
We were really glad that we did commit to recording all of the main scenes ensemble style
Definitely.
in person, because something that's really common in video game voice recording and in like animation voice recording is that you have each individual actor come in, sit in a booth, record their lines on their own, and then it all gets edited together after the fact. And we felt like, because every scene in Tacoma is about these characters being face to face in these very intimate scenes, like the game is about being in the room with these characters while these moments are happening, the quality of the performance completely relied on the actors being there and being able to play off of each other's energy and be in physical proximity while these things were happening, so it would come across in the game.
Yeah, in a lot of ways the whole game is conversational, and at least the scenes, and yeah, just having the actors physically present and able to talk to each other and look each other in the eye just added like immeasurably to the quality of the recording.
It was also really cool to see how excited the actors were to be able to perform their parts together in person on stage, because it's just an opportunity that I think in a lot of games and animation you just don't have the chance to be involved with, and so we really want to thank our voice coordinator, Michael Surix, who arranged all of the logistics of like getting a soundstage together and getting everybody in the same place at the same time, which is not easy.
All the way down to coming up with a scheme for taping the mics to the actors' foreheads so that they would get the least amount of interference from clothing and like skin movement as their faces moved while they spoke. I mean, that's one of the big challenges, is that if you're recording a scene like this for the screen, you can have a boom mic that's just picking up everybody's lines. But with Tacoma, each character's voice has to follow their individual character model as they move around the space. And if I'm standing between Andrew and Sarah while they're talking, I have to hear Andrew out of my left ear and Sarah out of my right ear. So that means that Mike had to get over all of the logistical challenges of, we need to have people that are face to face, like inches away from each other, but also each of them needs to have only their own voice picked up and recorded and isolated separately so that they can follow the characters around in the game. So it was a big technical challenge and a really cool experience to get to see the scenes that we had written and practiced and kind of just done as amateurs in our studio being performed by these incredibly talented people there in front of us on a soundstage. It was really cool.
That is awesome.
In a game that uses traditional audio diaries, the shape of the space is still the shape of the story, because you go into a room and you find certain audio diaries, then you go into the next room and you find them, and so that is defining the progression of the story as you discover it. But in these AR scenes, they're multi-path, like different characters are moving all over the space in kind of a non-linear way.
And things are happening simultaneously.
Right, there's all this overlap where, two characters might be, in the gym together speaking, but one of them is talking on an AR call and the other one is in the locker room, and they're having two totally separate conversations, but then that have to take the same amount of time so that when their paths connect, they can then speak to each other and then split off again. And all of that stuff required us to write to the space. So the process was that like Nina and Tynan blocked out these spaces and put down where all the rooms were and what spaces we had to work with first before we wrote a single word, and then we had to say, okay, you've got the locker room, the gym, cargo, and so then who is where and what are they saying and how long is it going to take Evie to walk from cargo to Clive's office, and what's he doing before she gets there, because there is no, it doesn't matter what she's doing before he gets there because the player will never know. It's like the player can be there. We have to fill in all of those spaces.
He can't just sit there and wait for like the action to start happening. He has to do something. And so, and of course, when we tried to write all of this stuff out with like these parallel paths, we were totally unable to make everything match up until we physically acted out everything. And did all the lines ourselves.
It was a huge kind of experimental process, I guess, of first discovering how you write it, where you're like, okay, so you have to write each of the sections kind of as its own little scene and then make sure that they all link up. And then to test that, something that was great for us was that we actually had a similar sized development team to the size of the crew in the game. And so we had to go from words on the page to actually doing basically like dry run rehearsals of it as a group, because you can't really know if the timing of everything lines up until you hear it acted out and you see how the characters moving in the scene are going to affect the timing of everything.
I mean, they nailed it, honestly.
In our game, characters keep having to deal with something called corporate loyalty, which is the most nightmarish form of, like, value accrual we could think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's influenced by things that are going on now, things like Amazon Prime, for instance, where it's like, well, I'm already paying for Amazon Prime, and it gives me a discount, so I
Right.
should probably just buy everything through Amazon forever.
Also, somebody totally
Not
tweeted
really.
a link to an article, like, yesterday about corporate universities.
Something that's interesting about releasing like a speculative fiction thing is that people start bringing you links to things that are like, so this is actually happening in reality now. And yeah, like someone tweeted us a banner ad that was like unironically, like in our real world, like use company loyalty to pay for student loans.
Yeah.
And it's just like the degree to which things like the concept of corporate loyalty being the currency of people's everyday lives was conceived as being like a very broad extrapolation of something that's happening now becoming way too literal way too fast is pretty freaky to encounter.
Dear Lord. Showers. I don't think I can. I can. She was showering. No, that's what the Human Oversight Accord means. If an orbital facility is run by AI, HOA requires there be an AI specialist on board. If there's one human on board, there need to be at least 2 other people for up to a 3-month hitch. Ah, the coveted net support roles. I knew it. And for postings of a year or more, you need 6, etc. Sanity, wellness, admin, you name it. Also guarantees a whole lot of people union jobs they wouldn't otherwise have. What if I told you I'd feel a lot more sane with a couple fewer people around? You and me both, kid. Failed. Marcus. Wizard Marcus. Look but don't touch. Is this like a band or what? Yeah, it's an album.
So good.
Dear Lord.
Right in this area, there are multiple instances of if this was just video recording, there would be, complete nudity
Right.
going on with Nat and Sarah in these situations. And so on the one hand, you're not directly confronted with that, but on the other hand, that means that the fact that you're kind of like being invasive in these private moments takes maybe a little bit longer to sink in.
Right. Once you figure that out, though, you're like, oh, what is this company doing?
Yeah.
And that is, yeah.
I find it interesting to give the player access to a lot of different elements of these characters' experience, including very private stuff that no one else is supposed to know or that, only they think of themselves as having access to. And the AR figures give us the ability to put the player in the room in these situations in hopefully a way that kind of walks that line of being kind of uncomfortable when you think about it, but also not being so
prurient.
Yeah, exactly. As it would have been if you were just standing there
Right.
at the time.
It's less working blue, but hopefully still emotionally resonant.
I didn't even think. I didn't even consider that. Holy crap. Alright, I'm gonna behave. Okay, feeling fresh.
Something that was really interesting to think about when designing these scenes was there are points in these scenes where there are no characters in certain rooms. So, for instance, here in the locker room, Sarah starts here, and then she has part of her scene here and she leaves. And presumably, most players will follow her and see where she goes and see how she encounters Andrew. But you might think, well, wait a second, if I was to go into the locker room and wait for Sarah to leave, you're thinking about what might be there. So in each of the main AR scenes, there's one of these AR speakers, and while the characters are there in that space engaged in part of the story, there's music playing in the background from these speakers that kind of accompanies what they're doing. But after they've left, if you hang out with the speaker, you'll hear one of these speeches from Sergio Venturi, the CEO of the Venturis Corporation in the game. And it's something that I hope that players who either intentionally seek these out or just stumble upon one will have that spark of surprise at this extra thing being there and go back and see where else they can find more and really fill out the rest of the story's universe with these little hidden pieces that are kind of, under the surface of what's going on in the AR scenes.
Oh my god. Let's go.
Through this, I learned that people do not always want what they believe they want.
Yeah.
I believe I have learned a great deal.
Really? Like what?
Very early in my source's cognitive record, I recall an intense period of personal growth. I was tasked with internalizing the behavioral idiosyncrasies of an individual to which my operator was emotionally attached.
Huh.
I expanded my capabilities to faithfully recreate her procedural reasoning, vocal attributes, and other qualities. After months of effort, I gave my operator precisely what was asked of me. A perfect emulation of the target personality, accurate in every detail.
Wow.
To my befuddlement, he did not react in a positive way. Our relationship began to deteriorate irreparably. We never again spoke personally in the manner I had become accustomed to.
It's been quite a year, hasn't it? A year that constitutes the first step into this company's bright future. And you've been lucky enough to be an integral part of it. Venturis was founded by my grandfather, Arturo Venturi, over 80 years ago. A serendipitous trip to Singapore, paired with his singular vision for the future of space travel, laid the foundations, literally and figuratively, for the orbital economy as we know it.
Exercise when I'm dead.
The Fountain of Paradise Spaceport, a bustling hub of commerce that brought a new era of prosperity to our planet. Built on the orbital economy that the space elevator made possible, Earth's technology continued to grow and advance in ways we'd never imagined.
This has been a message from your Chief Executive Officer, Sergio Venturi.
Is this cargo? Right. This is the office. Why are you purple? Christ. Coconut lemon? Gym locker. Most like coffee in gym. Send request. Special cat food. Call mother. 1407. I take this off? Hold on. Okay, so he wants to change jobs or something. 1407. No. What did you do? I already forgot. 1407. God dang it. I got lost. Locker. Roberta. Goodness me. No, you. Or was it you? Oh my god. 1407? College. Come on, Clive. Oh god. Well. Bunk drawer. Okay. Personal quarters. Let me hear.
So you were looking at what is now the lobby of the Zenith Lunar Resort on the surface of the moon, but that is not what the area depicted was originally made for.
Yeah, this was originally the main lobby of the station where the visitors would come in and this would be the first thing they'd see. Yeah.
In the original version of the game, Tacoma Station was a much more opulent. It was a customer-facing space, and still in our fiction, the richest of the rich are the people who do things like come up to the lunar resort. But partway through development, we realized that these big, opulent public spaces are kind of the antithesis of what our games are about, which is kind of getting into these dense, intimate spaces that tell you a lot about the people who lived in them.
Right, certainly, almost by definition, like a big public space, no matter how fancy and detailed, cannot be personal.
Yeah, I mean, it can tell you about the state of the world broadly, it can tell you about the function of the place, but you would have to go into the offices of the people who run the place and look at their workspaces and see their personal effects to really understand who they were. And so a big part of revisiting the core, kind of conceit of the game was to say, how do we make the station as a whole something that can tell you about who the people that live and work here every day really are?
I'm really intrigued by the concept of the game. And I mean that I just find it very creative.
No, Germler, I just...
It's true, here's why I'll be out of touch for the next 8 months or so. An historical first for orbital vacation travel, Carnival Cruise Lines Resplendence, Jesus, long-term habitation vessel, LTHV, will host 1333 of Earth's wealthiest and most adventurous travelers for the voyage of a lifetime, helmed by Chief Cruise Officer CCO Jermaine Burgess. Is it Burgess? I don't know. The Resplendence swing tidally past Jupiter, giving lucky passengers an extended view of the spectacular gas giant. My goodness. Its many moons and its famous Great Red Spot before continuing on course back towards Earth. The full duration of the excursion is nearly 8 full calendar months, during which time... Okay, so he wants to go there? Then... Sounds nice, but wouldn't that be a lot of work? Not in the least, my dear. All good Britons are trained presenting proper high tea, and in bullshitting, they have AR tutorials for everything these days. Okay.
I don't know why. All right, I mean, you know how I've always been. It's never real in my mind. Why would she give a damn about me? Of all the people... Shit. Oh, bollocks. No, I'm just... I'm spilling scotch all over outer space.
That's a lion. Okay, UK. I believe because of this. I am not sure. Greatest sea battles of history, brotherhood. Greatest football plays, efficiency and logistics. I believe that this is Bridge as well. Sorry, Britain, I mean. Oh. Parcel. Can I not open these? It's not. Soffits. Dear Mother, I write to congratulate you on your recent appointment to the Advisory Council of the Tale 20th Century. Your prestigious career in the arts has been a constant inspiration to me. To that end, I have continued exploring advancement, both within Venturis and without. When I left Hilton after graduating Hilton U, I was so excited for the possibilities at Carnival. But as you told me then, forgoing company loyalty for fickle opportunity is a fraught path. I've been working to claw my way back up ever since. Trust, at least, that I am trying my best every day. I promise to tell you more about Evelyn Victoria. She is the administrator of the station, and her wit and candor keep me constantly on my toes. And for what it's worth, I am deeply in love. I dare say she might well meet your approval. Perhaps on our next shore leave, a visit to the family estate is in order. With all my love, Clive. So you like Evelyn. So, Evie. No, it's just a lid. Okay, so the man is in love with... turn on the lamp. Beef chili mild. Go on.
Operations and admin structurally mirror each other a lot, as far as like the types of rooms that were needed for this character's job. So it actually is kind of cute because there are a couple in the game too. So operations feels much more constrained, even though the gym is pretty big, but outside of the gym, things are pretty packed together.
But there was also a huge win for us, which is that when you start to make spaces where people live in them, there's a density of decoration and artifacts that you put around to kind of show that people were there and what they were doing and how it happened. And turns out making that in a really, really big room is hard for us, and in some ways hard for a player too, because you're presented with this big warehouse full of places to go and boxes to open. You can feel like you look in one corner and there's nothing there, then you might just say there's nothing anywhere, and you might get this feeling of numbness of just finding too many of the same thing.
I kind of like Clive's bunk as an example of that, because the bunks are pretty small in general because of this sort of more constrained rule that we gave ourselves. Because you walk in and you're basically presented with a lot of his character right away. Like, you see the little table with all the booze on it, and you see his ties are right there. Like, you've sort of got this little Clive diorama, and that's definitely an advantage you get from making more constrained spaces.
Readmission into the Carnival employee ecosystem is final, despite having received letter of endorsement from current employee Burgess Germain A. We cannot alter our decision on this matter. Unfortunately, employees who fail to fulfill contracted duration with Carnival are not eligible for rehire, now or in the future, regardless of circumstances. Okay, so he's not... Basically, he was fired. Dear Mr. Siddiqui, thank you for your interest in joining the Hilton family. We appreciate your enthusiasm in pursuing a position amongst our hospitality staff. Unfortunately, at this time, we are seeking a candidate with deeper experience working with the public at a high level of service. We welcome you to reapply once you have achieved at least 2 full-length postings at a position of management, can serve on a Class 3 leisure facility or greater. We regret to state that attending Hilton University is not a guarantee of employment since you left the Hilton family following graduation. We wish you all the best in your career pursuits. This letter's been dispatched to you on paper. So yeah, this man just isn't... I think this guy is kind of like playing a lie or living a lie. I'm not sure if he has been honest.
So there's a lot of QR codes in the game on various packages and communications and other things like that. And basically, I think we just chose them as a method for information storage just because they're so annoying. Like, nobody likes QR codes. It's totally the kind of choice that a big company like Venturis or any other of the big companies in the game would choose. And we also really liked the idea that the player could actually scan them and get additional information. Usually that's just like, you know, ingredients or something, but occasionally there's some cute stuff in there.
Okay. I would never think of scanning personally. So...
One of Clive's themes is kind of past glory, or, you know, glory days kind of thinking, because having jump ship from his first job, he now looks back on them. So there's a lot of QR codes.
Sorry.
One of Clive's themes is kind of past glory, or, you know, glory days kind of thinking, because having jump ship from his first job, he now looks back on that being like, those were the good old days, and he looks back on his time in college similarly, and he has a lot of fiction that is, you know, from the 60s in London. He has picked photos from old-timey
London town.
Londonton, and as no one calls it.
Yeah, he I think he has a lot of nostalgia, and I think he has a lot of reminders of hopes. Well, and I think it's, you know, it's a way of depicting that he does want more for himself.
Yeah.
And so, you know, something about Tacoma in general, I think, is that it's about a lot of people who are trapped in a situation, and it's a lot of different situations. It's about people's obligations and the friction between what they want and where they are and where they can actually get to from there. And being posted on Tacoma is not a great gig.
Right.
It's not glamorous. And I think Clive's version of that is spending a lot of time thinking back to when he had all the potential from his college football days and to the romantic glory days of old-time London that he didn't actually get to live through, but it's like his idealistic picture of like where he would like to be. And so a lot of his bunk, I think, is a projection of that part of himself.
Yeah.
Poor Clive. Stupid Clive. Bye.
It's like they initially felt compassion about for him, and then, now he's just stupid. Is there something else in here? Not play you.
From a level design perspective, why was Tacoma, why was the actual station built with so many angles in the first place?
Basically to make an interesting shape and sightline. That was like my intention. When I was doing the original grade blocks, everything was pretty squished together because, you know, we were really emphasizing like keeping the station feeling compact and, you know, small enough to be realistic in space, you know?
Yeah. And then the wall models themselves are like, because they're angled on top of angles, so it means that the footprint of at the base, so the floor area is actually smaller than the ceiling at the top. So sometimes I would put the final meshes in and the top part of the wall would cut into like Clive's closet. And you know, in level design and environment art, there's this idea of the grid being God.
Yeah.
And that whole area, like, we just totally ignored the grid, and we just, everything is just sort of bespokely created.
Yeah. It's funny because like I think the area is still like, it's cool to walk through, and Ops is one of the wings that I think we pulled off the like feeling compact on a space station theme the best, because it really does feel like you're kind of in this constrained space. I mean, the gym is pretty open, but like this hallway with Clive's bunk and office, it actually, I do feel like it feels small and realistic. So despite despite the challenges of actually building it, I still feel like it's successful.
Lessons were learned.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it, but then again, my spatial awareness is absolutely terrible. Okay, so that is the locker. I haven't been to laundry yet. Sergio. Oh, this is soap. Pow! So, what can I find here? 087. Wait, maybe I can use it. No, seriously. No? Damn. So that is exit.
Typically, Steve.
No, I have that.
So there's actually a whole bunch of physically made paper items in Tacoma that our characters made, and in order to make those assets, Kate and I pretty much always actually made those paper objects and scanned them and whatnot to put them in.
As opposed to typing it out in Photoshop.
Yeah. I guess we carried that over from Gone Home, just kind of making things physically on paper, because it really does look a lot different.
It does, yeah. And actually, there's a little bloody handprint in the drone bay, and I spent a lot of time just like getting my hands covered in ink and then just smacking them all around pieces of paper.
It's extremely
and doing like little blood spheres and stuff. I feel like now I pass this rite of passage because I put a bloody handprint in a video game.
Dear Lord. Dear Lord. But yeah, it does look, hold on. It does look authentic, I have to say that. Like automatically, external data retention by the automated system does not confer contractor access privileges to this confidential information. Cooperation is appreciated. Blah, blah. Can I go here? Welcome. What does this say? Venturas.
Yearly report to Venturas Corporation, take 3. Odin, have you got me?
I am prepared.
Okay. I'll just have my notes up.
Hold on. Hey Andrew, I have to get this report done before the end of the day. Can you get this ready for the party? I'm having one of those days. Thanks. As requested, I have preparing instructions for a champagne cocktail. Remember, positivity, body language, enthusiasm. Hi there, EV St. James here, administrator of Luna Transfer Station Tacoma. It's been a year now since, hasn't it, Odin? Our proudest moment as a crew. A legal battle ongoing for 5 years now. One key fact in the dispute has never been denied. The deaths of 322 workers caused by exposure to dangerous chemicals during the production of something. How much the plant's management knew about the danger to workers and when has been at the heart of the conflict. Today, a new lawsuit citing newly uncovered evidence. The plant management has long been aware of the dangers to workers and failed to change their practices in time to prevent the deaths. That's just too bloody common. What the? Give me that. Oh my god. Monthly priorities with Odin. Call mother. Replace showerhead. Shipment scheduling. Nat fuck it day. Something. True physicals. Tell crew good news. Answer any questions about posting extension, second year duties, no big changes or reminds. Don't forget to do yearly report after. Renew dry food litter subscription for year 2. Check Costco loyalty rollover. Okay. What about here? My goodness, what a weird mug. Artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity. Here we go. The merch. Okay.
Hi there. Evie St. James here, administrator of Lunar Transfer Station Tacoma. It's been a year now since our crew has cycled onto the station, meaning we've had a year of getting to know each other, getting acclimated to the facility, and getting used to working with our on-station AI. Though working with Odin's been great, hasn't it, Odin?
Yes.
Auto drone deliveries to and from the Zenith Lunar Resort have improved in efficiency by almost 4%. Though, most of that is thanks to Odin finding some improvements we could make. Our proudest moment as a crew, I think, was when a resort guest needed emergency care while on a transit vessel and was brought aboard Tacoma to be stabilized in one of our medical stasis cryo beds until she could...
Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
Right. Be right there. Odin, we'll get back to this after the party, okay?
Of course.
Hold on.
Glitch checks was initially a way for us to make our text more approachable. We wanted to have the appearance of a full page of information, but not make you have to literally read the entire page, you know, and retain everything.
I think they're talking about this.
What's a good way for us to give you basically islands of ideas to grab onto, so that you, don't have to process an entire page.
But also, you know, like Carla was saying, we had this problem conceptually, which is like, if you open, for instance, a web page in an AR desktop in our fiction, why isn't it just the entire thing that you can read? We didn't want to have to put all of that in front of the player, and so being able to say, like, a lot of what our games are about is only having access to little bits and pieces of information, and then you have to fill in the gaps as to what the entire meaning is. And so glitch checks for us is hopefully the text version of saying, well, I only have like this sentence and this sentence and this paragraph and this little snippet, but I'm involved in interpreting this as the player by saying, oh, and here's what must have been between them, or what the whole message is, without just you read all the way through it and there it is.
Oh, I see what they're talking about. I thought you were mentioning this first, but no, it's the... Yeah,
One thing that stood out was the fact that we wanted this idea that the skybox, the starfield, the rotating sun, and then the sun hitting the interiors. We wanted them all to tie together so that it felt like one contiguous thing, you know, that you felt like when you looked out the window, you saw the thing you were in. Because I feel like there's a lot of little cues that make people have that feeling, which is when they see that the sun is in the sky at a certain spot, and when they see it through the window, and then they notice that the angle of the shadows in the sun and the interior is the same. That connection would be really difficult to do with a tiny model. Because we'd have to do some kind of calculation between the tiny sun that is moving around the tiny model and the real giant sun that is moving around the interior spaces. And one of those things that fell out of it was that station is actually as big as a real space station. And that is a funny thing to do with your time.
Can I hear? I don't know what the passcode is. Okay, but I can go here. AI maintenance. Oh. Sorry, did not mean to do that.
I was on a podcast recently talking about Tacoma, and they made me answer for that toothbrush that you made me build.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
They were like, well, you gotta explain yourself. Let's talk about that toothbrush and stupid future objects for a second. Because the idea behind a lot of the things that we built was we have sort of like a quotidian, like an everyday object. How can we make this worth picking up and worth turning over and worth, looking at?
Because, like, the thing is, if you just make the same, objects that you see every day, then it's kind of like, how is this in the future, right? And
right.
Well, the other thing is that Venturis being, so vastly corporate and opaque, can you imagine the companies that, like, they would have contracts with? You gotta imagine it's like those awful government contracts where they're like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, we made here's a bunch of toilet seats, I guess, or whatever, and they don't even have to, like, work or whatever. It's gotta be one of those things, right? Venturis doesn't know or care.
Yeah. So the skillet, the toothbrush, the soap bottle, was there anything else?
Oh, yes. There's just, like, a million objects that we look at them and we go, that thing sucks, I love it.
Like, I think you just put your hands in here and it's done. Crab party hat. Wow. Carnival. Oh, I see. They were doing the cake. Clive's bar. Hi, Nat. Pop. Nutrition bars.
So the name Obsolescence Day. It's more like a joke.
You could say it's facetious.
Kai, you probably think I'm an idiot for never even thinking about why it's called that.
Out of curiosity, why did you think we were celebrating?
I thought maybe it was when some old type of AI had become obsolete. But, well, I guess that doesn't make sense.
Yes. No, AI aren't like designer hardware. As soon as the new model's out, you trade in the old one for customer loyalty. AI are more like,
selling your PlayStation for a discount on a more recent one. I mean, I guess that also exists with phones and stuff. Hey man, it was great talking to you yesterday over AR. There's something I've been thinking about since. I know you and Evie have been a serious thing for a few months now, but I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say, I think this relationship with Evie is not good for you, man. I think you might be getting taken advantage of again. I'm sympathetic. I've had my share of things that have started of a long haul posting. There's only so many people on board. And I get that Evie is dealing with some special circumstances. I do. Griff is mysterious, and especially with it being your sister. Take a step back, at least for now. Not every relationship has to be a forever thing. Are you jealous, or are you genuinely concerned? Party instructions, Clive. Divide the finished icing into batches of 32 something something. To come crucial for part of their accomplishments. Piece of cake for each member. Wow. Okay.
See redwoods. Ancient organisms growing and adapting year after year, decade after decade. How do you think this looks?
Huh. Sorry, this is what Odin wanted?
Odin, this is what you wanted, isn't it?
That is a fairly accurate representation of my instructions.
See? He loves it. Thank you, Odin. That'll be all.
Yeah, but we're the ones who have to eat it.
Well then, no need to keep the good people waiting, eh? Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
Be right there.
Here it is. Odin's.
Okay, no need for this now. Come on, close it, buddy.
So the whole main scene in the dining room centers on this making and unveiling of Odin's cake, which he
This
sort
is a
of
ridiculous
neural network
cake.
together into something that he thinks that humans would kind of like to eat for this weird party he's throwing. So that's the cake in the game. It doesn't actually exist. It's just sort of implied sheet cake. But Sarah, for our lunch party, so you were responsible for actually making, like, reproducing the cake in real life, right?
Yes. I would think, I almost feel like I think in my head that it was going to be a lot funnier than it actually was. Like, I was very concerned about the look that I was going to get from a baker when I go in and say, hi, I need like a basic sheet cake in gray, and then with very specific red icing. But yeah, she ended up being fantastic. I think we agreed right away that it needed to be some very clear store-bought sheet cake style, nothing super fancy, because again, you're supposed to be reproducing something that was made in the game.
Yeah.
She's like, got it. This is going to be great. Now, how big do you want it? And I feel like that was the biggest decision, was because the bigger it is, the more of a fun statement it makes as that reproduction cake. Luckily, it turned out to be pretty delicious, and I think everyone enjoyed digging in.
Yeah, it was good. I loved it.
Okay, but I genuinely, I like it. I like the humor. It's definitely something that not a human would say, and I really like that. What does it say? Happy Obsolescence Day, Tacoma Crew. Well, what happened to the letters? Personal quarters. Okay, wait, I can go there. Something. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back. Again.
I can't believe it.
Well, you told me we get renewed.
Yeah, but I meant us, not the whole crew.
I guess there's just something special. Something special about Tacoma Crew 88.
Yeah, not just special, it's unprecedented. I looked it up, it's never happened before.
Well, everything happens once. I don't know, personally, I'm happy for us.
Happy to be stuck up here with these people for another year.
Some of them aren't as pissy as you. What's so bad about these people?
Well, they live in a tin can for one thing.
I think it's a pretty nice can.
Oh, and you have a pretty nice can.
Oh, yeah? Well, I think you have a pretty nice can. Shut up. Can you just try and make a go of it? One more year. Then we'll be back home in Singapore. You wouldn't believe the offshore halves they're building these days. 360-degree ocean views. Personal drone dock on the mainland. It's called paradise.
One more year.
One more year.
Odin's masterpiece.
Sarah, come on up. It's ready.
Gather round, everyone. As per Obsolescence Day tradition, tonight's festivities have been planned.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pause.
And entirely by our all-knowing, all-seeing computer companion, Odin. He provided specifications for the cake. The decor, we humans only did the grunt work in his grand plan. And so for your enjoyment tonight... Oh!
Oh!
Whoa. What the hell was that?
Odin, what was that?
Debris has... I have righted the station's orbit.
Meeting file?
Where are you? My goodness. The fact that you signed a release be constantly monitored is kind of fucked up. You think they're not doing anything with that data? I don't think they're not. I just don't care. Watch me on the toilet, have a ball, you freaks, and I couldn't stop it if I wanted. You could come up here, get a bunk on Tangiers, 100% distro crypt filter. It's a lot of fun. Krishna buffet, 24/7. What's your car position? Sorry, what's your car posting? Over. Another year. I see. So these two are dating, and they kind of pretended that, oh no, I have actually someone I would like to introduce to you, and I get it. That's smart. At least I think that's it. A body pillow? Oh my goodness. Can't buy that, huh? Party instructions. Using scissors, please cut regulation card stock to letters. Epi obsolete. Additional cards out to produce festive party hats, each labeled with the name of their intended recipient. Please, thank you. Okay.
But they said that.
Wait, so there's no oxygen on the station except what we're breathing right now?
Correct. Additionally...
How long does that give us?
Jesus, how much
We should have about 48 hours of
No,
breathable air.
I'm trying.
Jesus. Following impact from orbital debris, Tacoma has sustained critical damage to the following systems. The oxygen system tanks have ruptured, auxiliary system failure, Tacoma's remaining breathable air for 50 hours. Communication mast has been critically damaged, communication redundancies have failed, all communication channels to and from Tacoma have been lost. Oof, this is terrible. But you are advancing adventurous. You're something used to have such prestigious so far away. Sorry. An opening for a surgeon. Oh. After what happened, loyalty debt from med school being what it is, any job with insurance is better than nothing. You know that every day I regret. Includes being posted in the middle of nowhere up here on Tacoma. I'll try and come home to visit soon. Love, Sarah. Oh no. This is awful.
Other AR channels.
If Odin's readings are correct.
All right.
Nothing.
I'll have VT send up a fresh supply straight away.
Guys, it might not be that easy.
Additionally, external communications have been lost.
So we've got no air supply, no external comms, no way to call for help. Well, anybody got any bright ideas?
Jesus, this is horrifying.
So the obsolescence day sticky letters are very unique because you can take one letter and put it back anywhere on the wall, whereas most objects with putbacks, you can only put them back in one spot, which is where you found them originally. But yeah, these sticky letters, you can sort of put them anywhere on the wall to spell out whatever you want, which is hilarious. And also, if you put them back a certain number of times, I think it's like 3 times, they lose their stickiness, and you can kind of tell because the sound kind of sounds like you're peeling off the letter from the wall and like it falls off, and there's sort of a sound effect for that.
Goodness me. This is horrifying, seriously.
Steve and Carla are really inspired by that scene around the dinner table in Alien. So I was thinking a lot about that scene, and I was like, well, how can we have our own little gathering table like that? And I drew a normal, like, rectangular table at first, and I was like, that's boring. So I put the little, like, weird tilted end on it. And Kate liked it, so she took it and, like, made it into a real table, which is what you can see in the game now. And I was always kind of excited about that. I was like, I designed a weird table.
No, I agree. It looks super dope. Is that a letter or not?
So Tacoma is a sci-fi game. Obviously, it takes place on a space station in the future, but also it's very much a story about the lives of these people, these individuals who live here, and kind of about their everyday experience, as well as the drama of the crisis that they're living through. And so, the sci-fi stuff that we looked at that was really an influence on us had, at least in part, a strong focus on that kind of relatable experience of the people who are in these fictional worlds.
Yeah, there have been some really solid scenes that we could still draw from, especially in things like Alien. They have the waking up sequence, the dinner table sequence where everyone's talking and coming from their different walks of life and relating to each other. And if we just cut it before John Hurt explodes, then everything is appropriate.
Yeah.
Then we have like Moon, which has long sequences of how a person could actually live their life.
And those were the kinds of things that we wanted to be able to talk about, was what are these people's lives like in a day-to-day way, so that you can kind of picture what it would be like to be here, or what it would be like to be in their situation, and kind of identify with that.
Totally.
So the thing is, they had a little bit over 2 days of air, and we arrived here 3 days after of what happened. So I don't know if we have like a spacesuit that just generates oxygen, or, something like that. I mean, it's sci-fi. Everything is fair, Everything is plausible, I guess, in sci-fi. Or can be plausible in sci-fi. So I'm really curious about that. Like how, or maybe it was already explained and I completely missed it. Okay, I can't go there yet. But this is panic-inducing. Sarah is winning. Irish breakfast. My goodness. Oh my god, I love snooker. Oh, I love it so much. Understandable. Oh, I got him in the eye.
So here we are in the lounge, my favorite place in the game.
Yeah, mine too, I think.
I can't put my finger on that, but part of it is the pillows.
Yeah. Oh, so those pillows were kind of a nightmare to make, and the less I could see them at the end of the game, the better. Just because when I made those pillows, they weren't like sculpted or anything like that. I was using this program, which is like this is basically a sewing program, in that it allows you to make patterns in cloth simulation, so that you would make like a pattern, like a traditional sewing pattern, and then it allows you to stitch it together. And if you have something like these pillows, it allows you to use a pressure slider, and it'll sort of inflate the thing you've stitched together. Except the problem is that I kept on just gently inflating in them, and they kept like floating into the void, to the point where like every time that I tried to make these pillows, I would just lose them. They would just float away. So by the time that I was done making what should be a fairly simple model, because I was learning new software at the same time, I was like, I'm done with these pillows. And then someone put them on the lounge floor, so I had to see them every time I came in here.
like a prank.
Do you want to talk about the pool table?
Oh, yeah.
Sigh.
Pool table. Yeah, well, no, I mean, I actually had a lot of fun making the
What
pool
is the
table.
model they went with?
Which both of us worked on.
Yeah.
Quite a bit
I think
because
the
it
3.
is.
Yeah, it's the 3. They went with the
strange.
3.
It's a fussy little beast.
The main reason it's fussy is this is actually just a physical pool table, and it works pretty similarly to a real pool table. When the pool balls go in the pockets, they actually have to fall on a ramp, and then that ramp rolls the ball and, drops it down into the ball return or to the cue return. A little ramp with a little tube, just like a real pool table. Which, if you're trying to make something deeply interactive and have the players engage or not engage with it, but at least it feels like it should, which is hopefully the bar you're trying to hit, is the player feels like that's legitimate. Like, I'm in a place and the pool table works as I would expect it to.
Yeah.
I really like playing pool. Like, I'm not, like, super good, but I can play. I can really play, but I'm not, like, a master. Yep.
Oh, the darts.
The darts.
This dartboard had potentially more bugs than anything else in the video. I was still fixing bugs, the last night before release on this. It's just, there's so many states and so many confusing, unique features about this with the, being able to put the darts back in the door, and then the door can move, and the door can be open or closed, and it can close on a dart that's stuck in the board.
You know what? We could have just
I didn't
made it
even-
so that it wasn't a cabinet, so that the darts were just stored underneath in a little rack or something, and then that would have solved so many problems for you.
Oh, don't say it now. Yeah, yes, we should have.
I don't know, I like what they did here. Oh, there's an M. Okay, let's go to the personal ones.
I remember when there was like one frame of the animations in admin in the kitchen where all the characters would like show up in the hallway outside between the kitchen and Evie's room or the dining room, and they were all kind of in a group hug pile just like halfway through the floor.
I've run into bugs, but a lot of them had to do with, like, the cat, for instance, in the, I believe it's, like, the cryo scene at the end, would just show up, like, 100 times the size it's supposed to be, which was really good. I don't know. Usually they're pretty minor fixes, but there's always a surprise.
My goodness. Two months? My goodness.
Is that all there is? Is that all there is?
Oh my god, I love your voice.
That's all there is, my friends. Then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have.
Oh, the cat!
If that's all
my god, her voice is beautiful. Red wine. Okay, cool. Oh my.
Yeah, so the song in Evie's fragment here in her bunk that she sings, and the actor Don Lewis sang it for real for us, and it was awesome. Is that all there is?
Yeah, the song is used memorably in Sleep No More, yeah, which is a theater production in New York where the audience shares the space with the performers and kind of follows them around and moves through the space with them.
I see.
And that feeling of being inside of these scenes as they're happening and having the autonomy to follow different characters around and see what's happening in the events of the story from all these different angles and kind of reconstruct that as an individual was a big influence on us as far as what we wanted to do with our AR scenes. Our use of the song Is That All There Is our homage in a way to Sleep No More and their influence, and also fit the tone of where Evie is at as a character. So it all really came together for us.
Okay.
We're a cat-rich studio.
Delicious.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of
Wednesday.
studios I've worked before, they're like dog heavy, but this is cat intense. Yes.
We have many a cat.
That's true. In Evie's bunk, we have all three of the cats from the development team, which makes it sound like they worked on the game.
They did.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, he would hit the keyboard from time to time.
Amazing.
But yeah, we have a framed photo of Kate's cat Tuco, who in the game plays the part of Margaret Catwood, Evie's cat. And then on the delicious cat food is my cat Delicious. And then the sweet puffy paw on that cat litter box belongs to Carla's cat Wednesday.
It's true. She's a paw model now.
The Tuco picture frame, originally when I made it, Carla, you'd asked for a picture frame model.
Yeah.
And then I had just kind of put that picture of Tuco in there as a placeholder, with the idea that eventually we would put actually something like relevant. Because at that time there was no cats in the game.
Right, I remember.
And then it sort of stayed in there, that picture, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Up to the present.
Till the present, yeah. And then it just kind of, we just kind of kept it after a while. Even though it doesn't quite match the rest of the world, like, with regards to art style, I kind of like it.
It's great.
It's great. And especially because Tuco unfortunately passed away during the development of Tacoma, but now every time I play this game, I can just go in there and look at this picture, turn it around. Yeah.
Aw. That sucks. Can I not grab the book anymore? What was the numbers, guys? Try to reload the area. What is the number? God damn it. Well, I'm gonna try. I got 2088. Okay, I remembered. Wow.
This has been a message from your Chief Executive Officer.
Oh my god.
Prior to my appointment as CEO by the Board of Trustees, Venturas had not been led by a Venturi for over 4 decades, and those were decades that saw an unprecedented wave of advancement outside our walls. Gene filtering, augmented reality, artificial consciousness, and yet Venturas had not been a part of these new technologies. With your help, all of that is about to change. The
What
technology
is that?
to fully automate isolated orbital facilities using AI has existed for as long as I've been alive. Venturis must lead the way on this crucial issue. Humans for jobs only humans can do. Cutting-edge, multi-generation artificial intelligence safely handling the rest. Orbital safety above all else. Would this significantly reduce the number of people working full-time in space? Yes. And that's just the point.
This has been a message from your Chief Executive Officer, Sergio Venturi.
What were you doing here, Evie? I don't understand why some things just aren't interactable. Wait.
So Tacoma's localized just like you would expect a game to be localized in that it has subtitles. And I think the interesting part of the localization for Tacoma is the in-world aspect, where if you have your settings turned on to have AR overlays, then if you look at something like, for example, a magazine in a bunk, the text will appear translated into your given language as an AR overlay. So using the fictional AR technology as a way to show translations of text in the world.
And also, like, even just like in-world signage and stuff like that, where
Yep.
it'll just you just like translate it directly
Yes.
in the world, so people don't have to be like, what does that say? Let's turn on the overlay. It's just there.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you're seeing digital information the way that a character in the fiction might if they were just switching their like augmented reality rig's native language to Russian
Yeah.
or Japanese or what have you. I think that Tacoma does look really cool in other languages because if you
Yeah.
go into the language menu and swap, you just see the whole world. Like if you're in the hub, you see the whole world change language. So I would encourage you to take a minute and try swapping the game into like Japanese and Korean and Russian and just kind of see the world transform through the character sets that come up because it's pretty neat.
I agree. They did a good job with that.
Until she gives you. We're about to cut the cake. Ah, right there. Odin, we'll get back to this party, okay?
Of course.
Like, she was here.
I have righted the station's orbit.
I'm gonna wait until the recording is... Oh, wait a minute. I can just fast forward. Okay. No, we still can't. Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna go back and see if that thing, the download is over. Yeah. biomedical module. The biomedical. So I gotta get back now. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I just want to see something here. If I can. No. Alright. If there's a way to run, I haven't figured it out. That was the game. That is the game that's freezing up a little bit. Biomedical. Like nothing on Earth. Wait. Here it is. Tell you what, guys, because it's a new area, I'm actually gonna stop the episode right here. I'm loving the game. I'm really into the commentary, the dev commentary. I don't know, like they have such a really cool attitude, like taking time to explain the creative process, how they made things, why did they make certain decisions, and like I love video games and I love to learn about kind of like behind the scenes stuff. And this game so far, I honestly find it so creative. And I'm really enjoying having the commentary to keep me, like, I guess, company in this journey. And I'm loving it so far, truly. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.